Animal Intelligence, Chapter 1, Page 1. The study of consciousness and the study of behavior. The statements about the human nature made by psychologists are of two sorts. Statements about consciousness, about the inner life of thought and feeling, the self as conscious, the stream of thought, and statements about behavior, about the life of man that is left unexplained by physics, chemistry, anatomy, and physiology, and is roughly compassed for common sense by the terms intellect and character. Animal psychology shows the same double content. Some statements concern the conscious state of the animal, what he is to himself as an inner life. Others concern his original and acquired ways to response, his behavior, what he is to an outside observer. Of the psychological terms in common use, some refer only to the conscious states, and some refer to behavior regardless of the consciousness accompanying it. But the majority are ambiguous, referring to the man or animal in question, at times in his aspect of inner life, at times in his aspect of reacting organism, and at times as an undefined total nature. Thus, intensity, duration, and quality of sensations, transitive and substantive states and imagery, almost inevitably refer to states of consciousness. Page 2. Imitation, invention, and practice almost inevitably refer to behavior observed from the outside. Perception, attention, memory, abstraction, reasoning, and will are samples of the many terms which illustrate both ways of studying human and animal minds. That an animal perceives an object, say, the sun, may mean either that his mental stream includes an awareness of that object distinguished from the rest of the visual field, or that he reacts to that object as a unit. Attention may mean a clearness, focalness of the mental state, or an exclusiveness and devotion of the total behavior. It may, that is, be illustrated by the sharpness of objects illuminated by a shaft of light, or by the behavior of a cat toward the bird it stalks. Memory may be consciousness of certain objects, events, or facts, or may be the permanence of certain tendencies in either thought or action. To recognize may be to feel a certain familiarity and surety of being able to progress to certain judgments about the thing recognized, or maybe to respond to it in a certain accustomed and appropriate ways. Abstraction may refer to ideas of qualities apart from any consciousness of their concrete accompaniments, and to the power of having such ideas, or to responses to qualities irrespective of their concrete accompaniments, and to the power of making such responses. Reasoning may be said to the present when certain sorts of consciousness or when certain sorts of behavior are present. An account of the will is an account of consciousness as related to action, or an account of the actions themselves. Not only in psychological judgments and psychological terms, but also in the work of individual psychologists, this twofold content is seen. Amongst writers in this country, for example, Titchener has busied himself almost exclusively with consciousness as such, Stanley Hall with behavior, and James with both. In England's Todd Galton and Lloyd Morgan have represented the same division and union of interests.